Staying ahead in the AI world feels like a constant sprint, doesn't it? Just when you think you've got a handle on things, well, there's another leap forward.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
Today, we're diving straight into some of the most interesting developments highlighted in the AI Daily News Digest from May 6th, 2025.
Yeah, let's do it.
Think of this as your, quick download on what's really moving the needle right now.
Exactly. We've got a mix of significant industry moves, exciting new models hitting the scene, and even some, well, thought-provoking discussions about AI's broader impact.
Okay, where should we start? OpenAI.
Sounds good. Let's jump right in with some news around OpenAI. Bloomberg reported they've agreed to a deal with a company called Windsurf.
Windsurf, okay. You said agreed, so is it a done deal?
Well, not quite closed yet, apparently, but it's certainly generating buzz, especially considering the timing.
The timing.
Yeah.
What's significant there?
Well, it's right around the same time that Cursor, another AI company, closed a huge funding round, like $900 million at a $9 billion valuation.
Wow, okay, so lots of money flying around.
Definitely underscores the intense investment activity we're seeing.
And it's not just deals, right? OpenAI also clarified something about their structure.
That's right. They put out an update basically reiterating that the original nonprofit structure is still in control of the for-profit part.
Addressing those governance questions, I suppose.
Seems like it. And, for people tracking the business side, this Windsurf deal, if it closes, is being talked about as maybe the first big AI wrapper unicorn exit.
AI wrapper, meaning they build on top of existing models.
Exactly. Using foundational models to create new apps or services. And a unicorn exit, well, that billion-dollar valuation mark, it definitely signals the market's maturing.
Got it. So big shifts in the business landscape. Okay, let's move on to the models themselves. NVIDIA, they've announced Llama Nematron.
Yes, Llama Nematron. Quite a name.
It is. What's the headline there?
Well, it's not just one model. It's an entire open family of what they're calling heterogeneous reasoning models.
Heterogeneous reasoning. So, good at thinking tasks.
That's the idea. The big selling points are, strong reasoning, being efficient when you actually run them, inference efficiency, and crucially for many businesses, an open license.
Right, that open license is often key. Are there different sizes?
Yep. The big one is LN Ultra. Massive. 253 billion parameters.
253 billion.
Yeah. And apparently artificial analysis thinks it's like the most intelligent open model out there, at least as of April.
Okay, that's a strong claim. What about smaller options?
There's Nano, which is 8 billion parameters, and Super at 49 billion. So, a range depending on what you need and what compute you have.
Makes sense. And where can people find these?
They're up on Hugging Face, listed as efficient reasoning models. So, pretty accessible for the community.
Good stuff. Okay, next on the list here is Physical Intelligence Point 5. Sounds abstract.
It certainly sounds intriguing, doesn't it? But honestly, based on the digest sources we looked at for May 6th, there just weren't any specific details provided on it.
Okay. So bit of a mystery for now then.
Seems that way. It might be something still under wraps or just not widely reported yet. We'll have to keep an eye out.
Fair enough. Can't cover what's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears then to another big player, Alibaba's Qwen team. They've released Qwen 3.
Yes, the Qwen team's been busy. They've launched a whole family, the Qwen 3 family. Includes 2 mixture of XBoots models and 6 dense models.
Mixture of experts. That's the approach where different parts specialize, right? Makes big models more efficient.
Exactly. Good way to think about it. And the family covers a big range in terms of size.
How big are we talking?
They go from around 600 million parameters, which is relatively small these days, all the way up to 235 billion.
235 billion. So competing with the biggest ones out there.
Pretty much. And actually, their Qwen 3 235B A22B model is doing really well. It's ranked in the top 10 on the AI Model Arena leaderboard.
Oh, impressive. What are its standout skills?
According to the Arena rankings, it's number 4 in coding right now, and actually number 1 in math. Also ranks 5th for web dev stuff.
Wow. Number 1 in math is quite something. Very strong technically then.
Definitely. Very versatile, high-performing model.
But I think I saw some chatter about potential limitations, maybe the context window.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it has a standard 32,000 token context window, which is, pretty decent.
32,000 is quite a bit of text.
It is, but some users have noted that for tasks needing really long, verbose reasoning, or if you're feeding it massive documents, it might start to struggle a bit, even though you can extend it to 128K tokens.
So the standard window might be the bottleneck sometimes.
Potentially. There's a sense that maybe models like DeepSeek R1T Chimera might be a bit more concise or efficient in their reasoning for those really long sequence tasks. It's about how much info it can juggle effectively at once.
Interesting trade-off. And people are running this giant 235B model at home. That sounds challenging.
It is. Yeah, one user shared a really detailed setup for running the Qwen 3 235B A22B MOE version locally. Needed some serious hardware.
Like what?
Like a top-end AMD processor, 192 gigs of RAM, and 2 GPUs adding up to 48 gigs of VRAM.
Whoa. Okay, so not your average gaming PC.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Really shows the kind of resources you need if you want to run these beasts outside the cloud.
Did they manage to get decent performance? Any tricks?
They actually found they could speed it up. By default, it uses like 8 experts per token. They tweaked it down to 4 experts.
And that helps.
Yeah, they reported going from about 5 tokens per second to 7 tokens per second. So a noticeable bump, shows you can fine-tune these things even locally.
But it wasn't just that one setting, was it? Sounded quite technical.
Oh, absolutely. The setup involved really advanced stuff,
Yeah.
things like tensor offloading, deciding where parts of the calculation happen, messing with batch sizes, using flash attention to speed things up, different text generation strategies. It's deep.
Right. So lots of knobs to turn if you know what you're doing. What about benchmarks? I saw MMLU PRO mentioned for the smaller 32B version.
Yeah, people have been testing compressed versions of Qwen 3 32B, specifically the IQ4XS type. They ran them on about a quarter of the MMLU PRO benchmark.
Only a quarter. Does that affect the results?
It can. With just 25%, there's more risk of, statistical noise. The overall accuracy across different compressed versions seemed pretty similar, though.
But maybe differences in specific subjects.
Exactly. Some testers felt, for instance, that one provider's version seemed better at computer science, but maybe not as good in health or math. But again, with the small data subset, it's hard to be certain. Need more testing, really.
And what about the compression itself? Did that impact Qwen?
That was a big discussion point. It seems Qwen models might be quite sensitive to how their key value cache memory is compressed, KV quantization.
Sensitive how?
Some folks reported getting much better performance just by not compressing that specific part, turning KV quantization off, basically. One benchmark used 8-bit compression there, and the feeling was results could be quite different without it.
Huh. That's a really specific, practical detail. Did anyone manage to share reliable speed numbers for the full 235B beast?
Someone tried. They posted about running it on a high-end setup, multiple GPUs, lots of RAM. But apparently the summary of that post had an error in the data.
Ah, bummer. The challenge of bleeding-edge tech reporting.
Yep. So no solid numbers to share right now on that specific setup. But overall, Qwen 3 looks powerful with these nuances around context and compression.
And you mentioned DeepSeek R1, perhaps handling longer contexts better in practice.
Yeah, there was a note suggesting it might be showing better practical use for longer inputs, maybe better memory handling or just more stable performance there.
Okay, lots happening with the big language models. Let's shift to something more visual. Define, an object detector.
That's right. Define just released real-time object detection, and the initial buzz is pretty positive.
How does it stack up against something established like YOLO?
The claim is that it's significantly faster and more accurate than YOLO, which, in real-time detection, that combo is gold.
Faster and more accurate. Nice. Is it easy for developers to grab?
Seems so. It's got an Apache 2.0 license, which is very permissive. It's on Hugging Face transformers, and reportedly runs on T4 GPUs.
T4s. You can get those on free collab, right?
Exactly. So really accessible for people to try out.
That's great for getting it into more hands. Okay, next up. A peek inside Claude AI. A leaked system prompt.
Yeah, this is interesting. The system prompt for Claude AI supposedly leaked, and it's reported to be around 25,000 tokens long.
25,000 tokens.
Yeah.
Just for the system instructions.
Yep. That's a lot of text telling the AI how to behave.
What kind of stuff is in there? It can't just be helpful, right?
Oh, no. It's apparently got everything. All the behavioral rules, safety instructions, how it filters content, when it should refuse requests, how it handles metadata. It's like its core operating manual.
Wow. And if the prompt is that huge, what does that mean for users?
Well, the main thing is it eats up a big chunk of Claude's total 32,000 token context window, leaves only about 8,000 tokens for your actual conversation.
Right, so the AI's own rules take up most of its short-term memory, basically.
Pretty much. Before it might start, forgetting earlier parts of the chat.
Is there any proof this leak is real? That Claude actually uses this prompt?
Well, people have tested it, and apparently some specific rules mentioned in the leak, like Claude refusing to translate song lyrics seemed to hold true in practice.
Ah, so its behavior matches the leaked instructions.
Seems that way, yeah. Lends it some credibility.
And wasn't there something weird about how Gemini reacted to it?
Yeah, that was a curious little anecdote. Someone reportedly asked Gemini about Claude's leaked prompt, and Gemini apparently responded by summarizing its own system prompt instead.
Huh. Like it got confused or maybe protective.
Hard to say, but it definitely raises interesting questions about how these LLMs handle prompts about, well, each other's internal workings, maybe some kind of self-referential processing going on there.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, let's broaden the view now. Predictions about AI progress. David Sachs on the All In podcast made some pretty bold claims.
He certainly did, talking about exponential progress over the next 4 years. Very bullish.
Exponential. What's driving that, according to him?
He pointed to three main things improving rapidly. First, algorithms and models getting 3-4 times better each year, moving towards agents. Second, hardware also 3-4 times better annually, new chips, better data centers. And third, just deploying way more compute, scaling up to millions of GPUs, like with OpenAI's Stargate project.
And multiplying those factors leads to what number?
Yeah, putting those together, he estimated something like a potential 1 million times increase in AI capability in just 4 years.
1 million times. That's astronomical.
It is extremely optimistic.
But not everyone bought it. Were there technical critiques?
Yeah. A lot of commenters were skeptical. They pointed out there wasn't much, hard data or specific benchmarks cited to back up those 3-4x annual multipliers, questioning where those numbers came from.
Right, need more than just assertion for claims that big.
Ugh.
Okay, finally, let's touch on the impact of all this on, well, us, the workforce. Some interesting points came up.
Yeah, a few different angles. One was a concern, maybe a subtle one, that LLMs might actually make people less keen on reading long-form stuff.
How so?
The idea is, we get used to quick AI summaries, grabbing the gist instantly, and maybe lose the appetite or patience for digging into deeper, longer texts. A potential shift in how we consume information.
I can see that. The temptation for the quick summary is strong. What else on the workforce?
There was a big emphasis on practical AI skills, not just theory, but iterative development, actually building, testing, refining AI systems. Apparently, a lot of tutorials kind of skip over that messy, real-world part.
So the hands-on engineering aspect is becoming crucial.
Seems to be the message, and someone drew a historical parallel looking at agriculture in the U.S.
Agriculture, how does that relate?
Well, between 1910 and the 2000s, ag employment plummeted because of automation, right? Even while the population and economy grew massively, it's a reminder of how technology can fundamentally reshape entire sectors.
A sobering historical perspective on automation's potential impact.
Definitely. And there was also a specific point about the talent pipeline for AI research right now,
Okay.
highlighting the huge role international students play in AI and quantum research at universities, particularly in the U.S. The concern raised was that policies making it harder for these students could actually harm U.S. innovation in these critical fields.
Ah, so it's about maintaining that flow of global talent to stay ahead.
Exactly. Underscores how interconnected talent and tech progress are.
That's a really crucial point. Oh. Okay, that was quite a tour through the AI news from early May. We hit OpenAI's dealings, new models like Llama-Nematron and Qwen 3, Define, the Claude prompt leak, big predictions, and workforce impact.
Yeah, a lot happening across the board. The pace just doesn't slow down.
It really doesn't. So as you, the listener, digest all this, maybe think about how these different threads, the tech, the business, the societal impact connect. How might these advances reshape, your own work or interests?
It's definitely a multifaceted transformation we're watching unfold.
Absolutely. This overview is really just scratching the surface. There's always more to explore, so hopefully this gives you some starting points for your own deep dives.